Obviously, not a situation you wanted your team to be in, but when they put that kind of effort, come up so close, what was your message to the group after that?
A lot of it was, playing that way, for the entire 48. The way, that sense of urgency that we came out down that stretch. But again, we play these guys in 2 days, so a lot of the message was just watch it tomorrow, see what adjustments need to be made to make sure we come out on the other end of it next time we play them.
It's right after the fact, but what did you see in that run at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth from Toronto that kind of blew the game open and forced that last gasp run?
We turned it over. We turned it over quite a few times. I think it was 70, 71, close there, and then we turned it over quite a few times. That allowed them to get out on the break and get some easy baskets.
I've heard a lot of guys talk about needing to find that urgency. Why hasn't it been able to kind of be there as something you can count on when, we saw that in December when guys were down? Why hasn't the urgency been where you would like it to be for the full 48?
That's something we have to continue to talk about. I think that's a discussion that, playing with that sense of urgency for 48 minutes, when you step on the floor ready to go, understanding what is asked of you and doing it to the best of your ability.
Following up on the point on the turnovers, how did you feel that you guys dealt with Toronto's ball pressure tonight?
We had 14 turns, for 16 points. I think it wasn't necessarily the full turnovers. It was the level of physicality, pushing off our spots, not allowing us to get into our sets, playing up against the clock. Their physicality and their aggression started off a little bit more than ours in that moment.
Coach, Corey Joseph was plus 14 tonight. You subbed him in with 10 minutes left, down 16, and he helps will that comeback. How much do you trust his veteran experience and decision-making and three-point shot in moments like that?
That's who he is. He's a champion for a reason. That's why he's here. In moments like that, when you're looking for that professionalism of why that's why he's here. Again, he comes in the game, sets a spark, picks up, controls the pace of the game, gets the ball where it needs to be. Those situations were very, that's why he's here. I'll just say that again. That's exactly why he's here for moments like that.
Coach, I believe it was in the first quarter when Paolo had subbed out. There was a moment where you two had a dialogue, and he appeared to be extremely receptive to, the extent of that conversation that was going on. What do you believe sparked that conversation, and what was that dialogue like?
It's just constant communication of what's going on the floor. His ability to see how they're playing him, what they're reading, what they're seeing, whether he's going to be a screener, whether he's a ball handler. I think those situations are just the constant dialogue that he and I have to continue to have in order to understand exactly what's going on within the game and where we can find easier spots. That team was loading up a ton, constant switching. So being able to manipulate it the right way is something that we got to continue to look at.
And then you often talk about, teams not feeling sorry for you guys. You got to go on to the next game, one of 82. When you guys have, frustrating losses like you guys have had consecutively in a row, do you sense that there's a level of doubt or moral that is kind of creeping into the mind of some of the players at times?
No, I think there's a level of frustration because you want to get out of it. But again, the only way out of that is just to continue to study it. What adjustments need you make? You need to make the process that you have to follow in order to get on the other side of it. And if you're following the right process, you give yourself a chance each and every single night.
Jamal, what did you see on the possession down 2 late in the game that ended in the Franz missed layup? And what do you say to Franz, who takes tough games hard?
I think he got a good look at the rim. He missed the layup. I think what you say is that you're going to have about 1,000 more of those in your career. And you have to know that they're going to trust you to have the ball in your hands at times at the end of games. We've done it before. And he's come out on the other end of it. And so I think in those moments you have to know that trusting his process and his body of work and how hard he works, and it's not that sole possession. That's the situation. But again, it's trusting who he is. It's going to be in that situation a ton more times, and we trust in him to be able to do that.
Just quickly, we talked pregame about kind of needing to have a positive response after everything that your team has gone through over the last 3 or 4 days. Just how did you assess that you guys responded tonight?
We had moments. I think we had moments where we responded the right way, and then I think we had moments where they went on runs, and it was an up and down game, which is what we knew it was going to be. But again, I think it's just been ups and downs. It's similar to what's been going on throughout the years, but our ability to stay even keel the entire time is going to be very important.
Seems like set defenses are packing the paint as much as possible, which in turn forces when Paolo and Franz drive, not on that last play, they run into crowds. How much of a concern is it that your two top scorers, when they do take a shot, they tend to be such difficult shots?
Well, at the end of the day, they're going to be asked and tasked to take difficult shots at times. The thing that we continue to ask is that they make the right play and the right read. I think on the last play, essentially, where Paolo, he comes off the pick and roll. Corey Joseph sets a great screen, and he's getting ready to make the right play because they put two on the ball, and Corey falls. You can't draw that one up. So I think the situation of them just being able to make the right play at the right time to keep trusting and finding the teammates, which I think they've done.
Coach, do you think the level of frustration is stemmed from, obviously it's a couple of things, but is it more that, shots aren't falling, or is it more that you're not playing up to the standard, or is it kind of a multitude of things?
I think there's multiple things. I do really believe that. I think a big portion of it is that we understand the standard in which we know we can play, and we got to put that together for 48 minutes. And no one loves losing at all, but I think we have to find a way to continue to stick to our process of what we're doing and how we need to play each and every single night. I think that's the next and the continued step forward.
Coach, you ran sets to get Franz moving off ball with like Chicago and Peja through pin down and handoff screens. Can you elaborate on how that helps Franz create advantages for himself by getting him moving through screens where a player like Franz can pull up off the handoff or drive to the rack?
I mean, I think it's constant for a lot of our guys. We talked about, to Josh's question, the paint is packed, so you want to move guys around as much as possible to create space, to create advantages as you get downhill on the attack. Getting guys on the move, I think that's important between Franz, P, Wendell, Goga, those guys being able to move into screens and be able to navigate those guys because you keep the defense off balance.
Everyone good? Thank you.
Thank you all.
Yeah, obviously, not a situation you guys wanted to be in, but to put that kind of comeback effort together and come up just short, how tough was that to stomach tonight?
Man, that's always tough to lose like that, when you have a chance to take it into overtime or to win it. And we had the opportunity. Unfortunately, it didn't go through. But we thought we executed that play, well and got the shot that we wanted. We just didn't want, we didn't want the game to end that way. But before that play, we, had a lot of mistakes, in that third, I would say.
How would you describe the morale of the locker room right now?
We together. We win together, we lose together. There's no one's breaking off. Just being to themselves. Everybody's still trying to uplift each other. We still trying to get out of this slump together. And that's all it is. Just uplifting your brothers in the locker room.
We've heard a lot of guys talk about kind of trying to find the urgency for this moment. You guys were able to make that comeback. Why do you feel like it's been difficult to find kind of the urgency to play with that kind of intensity and energy throughout the course of the game?
I couldn't tell you that. If we got to get out early enough to warm up, or is it individual? I don't know that answer. I can just say, I think we do need to get out the locker room a little bit faster. Especially in the third, get a warm up, get warm, get ready to start moving. Because I think our third quarters is where we've dropped a lot, and it's been rough.
Toronto put together that run near the end of the third quarter and into the fourth that forced you guys to have that last gasp push. When those runs are happening, is there something that you can put a finger on as to why those runs are happening?
We just lock in defensively, get stops, get out in transitions. We just play the game within the flow, I would say. And for us, our half-court defense is top in the league, and our defense, regardless, is top in the league. So we kind of got to start leaning on that a little bit more, and just get out stops and get easy basket. And I think we started off doing that, but it kind of faded away in the second half a little bit.
You have the breakaway slam, coast-to-coast slam, and then the breakaway and one layup off the block from Jet the following play. What does that feel like in that moment? And do you and the rest of the team feel a real momentum swing? You feel that energy carry over to the next play after something like that goes down?
Yeah, man, that was the point of just trying to, get some energy in the game. I think we lost our energy a little bit, but just that sequence and them plays, just trying to get the energy in the crowd back into the game, and also uplift my teammates at the same time. We was a little down a little bit, but that energy could change a lot.
Kenny, we all understand the importance of what Jalen brings to you guys, both on and off the court, both sides of the floor. And obviously, it's been, compounded with these losses, very frustrating as of lately. Just how important is he to what you guys do and just the identity of what you guys are about?
He's, very important. He's our point guard, starting point guard at that, and also just what he can do on the defensive end. Cause havoc, put heat on the ball. Like no momentum changes like that could also just set us apart from other teams. But yeah, he's truly gonna be missed. We talk every day, try to keep his head up. But yeah, he's truly gonna be missed, especially on the defensive end.
For you personally, seeing the ball go through the basket a few times, getting some shots to go in, how important is that for you to kind of help yourself get going and get moving back in the right direction?
It's very important. For me, it's just, being aggressive when I do have the ball, taking my shots when they are there. I think I kind of did that tonight, being aggressive in the right moments, and also still trying to get my teammates involved and just help any way I can. Yep.
Obviously not a situation you wanted to be in, but when you make such a valiant comeback effort and come up just short, how tough is that to stomach tonight?
What was the last part?
How tough was it to deal with a loss like that, where you guys make a valiant comeback effort and come up just short with a shot at the rim?
It's tough. I think we made some huge plays in those last 2.5 minutes. Gave ourselves a chance to win the game at the end. But, you can't point to the last play and say that's why we lost. I think it was a whole three quarters before that that you could point to. But just impressed with how we, came back in those last 2.5 minutes, almost won.
Why do you think it took so long to have that burst on offense, though?
I don't know. I think we just made some key plays at the end. I made some aggressive plays to the rim. Got fouled. Yeah.
We've heard a lot of guys talk about kind of needing to find urgency. Do you feel like that's the problem, and where do you kind of find it before it becomes too late, like it kind of did tonight?
Yeah, I think urgency. That's been the word, I think, since coming back from All-Star break. In terms of trying to find it, I think just as a team we got to play better.
Feel your offense dealt with Toronto's on-ball pressure, whether it was at the top of the key or trying to get you the ball down in the post? How do you feel that you guys kind of handled that?
We didn't play very well on offense, honestly. So I wouldn't attribute it to their ball pressure. I would attribute it to, us not, executing well enough.
Paolo, with defenses packing the paint as much as they are, how do you and your teammates and coaches get more consistency with the offense so it can play up to its capability?
I think you just got to put the ball in your best player's hands and live with it, honestly. I think that's the best way,
What do you say to a friend, Franz in this case, who played a good game but was not happy with his final shot? What advice do you give him? What kind of encouragement do you give him after that?
Franz not the reason we lost the game. That last shot, he got a great look. It just didn't go in. He makes that, 99% of the time right there at the rim. So nobody should be blaming Franz. He was our leading scorer, and he played well throughout the game.
Paolo, does the frustration that the team has had over the last couple of games, does it stem from the fact that the process that you guys are going through just isn't getting those results that you may have gotten in the past? Or is it that the process isn't going the way that it has been before? Or is it just shots aren't falling?
I think, the process, it's not resulting in wins. So if you want to point to shots not falling, if you want to point to defense not being where it should be, if you want to point to, execution, you can point to any of those things. But at the end of the day, it's not resulting in W's.
Although it's pretty rare to see the same team twice in a row in the regular season, does that affect the team's approach to bounce back after this loss and have the opportunity to, keep what worked well and adjust on the fly and, bounce back to even the regular season series against Toronto?
Yeah, it's a good opportunity, getting to see these guys back-to-back games. Get to go watch what went wrong in this game and hopefully fix it for the next game.
Thank you, Pete.